Hey guys, what is up? It's Jay and welcome to what is going to be essentially just a bunch of tutorials that I do on art. So I have some art here for you guys to look at, and I'm going to be talking about pretty much what this is, basically. So I'm going to be showing you pretty much what all this is, essentially, and let's just start with the first one. Oops, I drew on it. The first one. So today's tutorial is about structure, obviously, character structure. So when you're designing your characters, you're going to do a lot of different things. This is what we call a skeleton. It's obviously not a regular skeleton like you would think of if you hear the word skeleton, but it's just the bare basics of a pose. You can also use stick figures, so there you could have this as a stick figure, like let's say right here. You could just do like a little stick figure of a guy like that. It was like a sword or something, and that's essentially what this pose is he could have a sword going across. He could be having his fist like he's ready to fight somebody, which is kind of what this looks like. I decided to make it look like this, where it looks more like that angle rather than that angle, so that it's less like he's holding something and more like he's just clenching his fist ready to fight. So I thought that looked kind of cool, so I just went with it. So the bare basics is a lot of circles, lines, and squares. So circles and ovals work the same too. You could actually do this as like an entire oval going around this way, up there like that. A lot of people do that and then just add the back of the head. I don't personally, because that's just how I normally draw. It's just like this. You could do a circle here, like the entirety of this being one big circle. That's usually how I do it, but this is with a little bit of the lines erased, with just this line left there, because that's where your guideline's going to be anyway. So basically, oval, things like that. The guideline, you got to know which way your character's head is facing. So I will link to other parts later on when I talk about them, and they'll be like, maybe you can see up where my pencil's pointing, there's a good spot right up there for some annotations. So when I get those tutorials out, I'll do specifically for those. So this one's going to talk about the face. So when I have the face tutorial out, it's going to be right up there, and there'll be a little box that you can click on, and it'll talk more about the actual face and different drawing techniques for the face. So today we're just going to be like a generalization. So like later on we're going to also talk about the torso, then the pelvis, and the legs, arms, hands. I'm going to talk about all that stuff in detail in their own videos. So basically you're going to start with this line here, and I did this just to save you guys time to watch, so that this is not as long as a video. So it's not like a 30-minute video, or it might be a 30-minute video, I don't know. But it's not super long where I'm drawing all these out. So then you're going to do the center line here, and then basically just box out areas and figure out where things are. So elbows are about waist, around the waist somewhere. They're usually just very close to the waist and belly button area. So you're going to want to make sure your elbow is right around in that area. Shoulders depends on the character, but a droopy character or a sad character, or one who slouches a lot, the shoulders are going to be down more. And then also on a lot more female characters, you're going to see them angling down more. This is a youngster thug kid, or like a fighting youngster. So he's not going to be buff, but he's not going to be like, I don't know, his shoulders aren't as slouched as they could be. You see on this side, they're not as slouched. They could be more, but they're not. And then the body, I made it so that he's kind of standing straight up in this tough guy pose kind of thing. So I curved this line to fit the angle that the body is going to be formed in, and then these lines are just to guide where your legs are going to be. So the hands come about to mid-thigh. So this is like a closed fist, and it would be around mid-thigh, a little bit higher. And that's where I made sure that ended off at. And then the knee, so you can guess where the knee would be from there. And then this leg is further back. You can see this leg is in front, so this leg's further back. That means that the angle that we're viewing him on, this knee is going to look lower than this knee, so this will be higher. So you have to have it on a higher level. It is a perspective thing. And then obviously that means the feet are going to be not on the same level either. Let's see, like that. You can still kind of tell this foot is closer to the bottom of the screen there, where this one's a little bit higher up. So that's a depth. It's depth and it's perspective, that kind of thing. And then we're going to do the same thing here. So I made it so the elbow it's risen a little bit, so it's going to be a little bit higher than this one, and it's back further, so it's also going to be higher. So it's going to have a little bit more height on it than this one. So there's a huge diagonal difference. So this one is going to be roughly right there, obviously, and then I just kind of made it look fancy, just in a fancy cool pose. So basically what I did was I drew this, I drew it on one piece of paper, cut it out, and then I put this all over the back of it with a 6B pencil, and then I just traced it 3 times and it transfers it over. That way it was just quick. You can do that if you really want to. That's not cheating. Do not be afraid to take another pose that you've already drawn, or make a skeleton if you're going to draw that pose a lot, or that you want to practice that pose a lot, and just continue that skeleton over and over, and then just draw over it, just like I did here. So you can see I made my lines a little lighter on this one for the guidelines of this, so I kept it a little lighter. I did use the 6B, and it was really sharp because of what I did over there. I put it all over the back, so it brought it to a nice point. So I was able to outline all the lines so that they were dark enough, but that they weren't too dark, because of that point. It would make it so that it wasn't too thick. So then I started detailing the body shape. So here I decided, instead of keeping his face rounded off like that, you have to have like the cheeks right here. So I made that cheek out a little bit more. It looks more prominent. And then I made an ear on him around where the ear would be. And then I kind of made it so it's like, okay, well, this might be where the chest is. This is the collarbone. I started adding in the shape of the arms. You notice I still made the hands, that hand's just a circle, and this hand is just a general shape. And so is this one over here, but that can be changed later. That's a more detailed hand. So you do that more in the final detailing process, not in this process here. So, and then we work down and make the shape of the legs and the shape of pretty much everything else. And it's just general sketchy looking shapes. And that's all it is. You're just forming the human body on him. So here I've done it so that it's really light, so you can only barely see the lines, the guidelines. So this is the point where you would have, where you'd be erasing all these lines here, and it would turn out to look something more like this. Your final work is probably going to have a lot of erased lines if you do this. That's why people do it usually lightly or digitally. And if you do digital art, you can just make it all in new layers and just delete this whole layer. So that's the benefit of digital. But I made it so that it was prominent. All these shapes were prominent. So now what you would do, next step, I wanted to do live for you guys. So the next step is basically figuring out where all the clothes are going to hang. So this guy is probably going to be wearing something like jeans or something like that, or he could be one of those school delinquents, so you could put him in a uniform. It's probably opened, like they have a, let's make him a school delinquent. So he's going to have the school uniform slacks. So you're going to basically draw the slacks on him. They don't have to be perfect looking, they just have to look like what you want them to look like in general. That should do. It just look like pants. Let's make the center, the side area there. It's maybe probably a pocket there, pocket there. You might have creased, like the crease in the front. A lot of anime uniforms have that crease going down the front of their pants. And then he's probably going to have, so we can add like the zipper and stuff here, because he's probably going to have something quite open. So we're going to add the waistband here, just a general belt. It doesn't really have to be fancy. Give it some wrinkles, just so you know where wrinkles are going to go. And then you're pretty much going to be drawing the details of the shirt, but probably loosely. So you might even make it more open than that if he's a delinquent kid. So it's going to be maybe like that or something. That looks about right. And then now that you know where the chest is, you have that line there, you can draw his chest muscles there or something, I guess. And then bring his shirt down. He might have it untucked, but we're going to tuck this guy's shirt in, so we're going to do like that. But he's got that school blazer that they have to probably wear. And he's probably got it open, so it's going to hang down like this. So then you're just drawing in where the clothing is going to generally go. And blazers usually have more pointed shoulders, so you're probably going to want to do that. And they always have that prominent shoulder seam. So then you're going to draw in just the generic shape of the blazer there. Maybe give him part of his shirt popping out there. This one is going to be a little more prominent, have a, like, it'll be like this, and then this will be more prominent here. That's what I meant by prominent, is the white part there, because it's gravity's pulling this part of the jacket down. So now it's causing more wrinkles and things like that. So you're just going to draw in the general wrinkles, and then you're going to go down here, go like this. Sorry about that. And then there, you're done, basically. Sorry, I ate something and it's giving me cough now. And then you're just going to draw the general shape of the lapel and collar, and you're basically done. Now you need to do something like hair or something like that. So you could finish off the shoes if you really wanted, but you don't really need to do that at this point. The shoes are pretty normal. They're easy. Once you draw one pair of shoes, you pretty much drew all the pairs of shoes for like that style. So like school shoes all kind of look the same. So anyway, so now what we're gonna do is work on the hair. So I decided to do this live too, because I didn't know what hairstyle to give him, and I still really don't. So we're just gonna kind of pick something. I'm thinking he's maybe got shorter spiky hair, so we're gonna give him some spiky hair. So we're gonna go from like maybe a little bit longer spiky hair. So maybe he's got like that Vegeta type look to him. Hey, let's make a young Vegeta. That'll be funny. So here, let's make this more prominent. It is Widow's Peak. This is what this is called when it's down that far. It's called a Widow's Peak. So now we're drawing Vegeta for some reason. But anyway, then you're just going to draw the hair in the basic shape. Doesn't have to look perfect. It never really does for me. I usually change characters' hair like crazy. So don't be afraid to experiment with different hairstyles. So there's a basic Vegeta hairstyle for him. And then you're just going to draw in the basics of where the eyes are going to go. So for Vegeta, we're going to do Dragon Ball Z style eyes. Just a generic looking face. There, now you got an angsty little Vegeta guy. So basically that's the structure of a character and how you make a character come to life. So I really hope this tutorial helps you guys. If you guys have any questions about anything I did that maybe I didn't explain well enough, I'm still new to explaining this stuff to people. I'm really bad at teaching, actually. So every time someone asks me to teach them how to draw something, I just don't know what to do. So hopefully this does help. If it doesn't, again, like I said, in the comments, please ask me any questions you guys have, and I'll do whatever I can to answer them as good as possible. So next to come up is probably going to be a face tutorial. I might mix face and hair together depending on how long it is. I'll test it out first and then do a second one if it's too long. But anyway, so that's it for this. So like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.